Hey guys, how are you doing? This is Belle. Welcome back to our GH Fast Dry Dipping Powder live stream. So today we're going to show you the G6405. It is a shimmer collection. So now let's check out the colors first. Well, here we got the 6 colors and the 4 pieces Accessory dip liquids. So now let's check out the liquids one by one. Well, this is the number 1 base. It is super easy to apply for beginners. And this is the number 2 activator. It is to make the top coat get dry and double shiny. And this is the number 3 top. And it's gonna dry within 1 minute. And this is the number 4 brush saver to help you to clean the dirty brush when powder sticks on it. So now let's check out the colors. As you can see, for this G6405, it is a kind of four summer colors. It is very suitable for you to apply because it is now in autumn now. Well, and our nail tag is wearing the number 155. It is a burgundy purplish colors. Well, let's check out the nail art design that we're going to do today. And this is the chunky glitter and the floral accessories combined. So for today's nail art design, we're going to use the 153 and 154, the 2 colors of this kit G6405. So for this G6405, we're going to have the limited time lining due from 13th of October. It is Tuesday from 8:50 a.m. to 2:50 p.m. And you're gonna have it by the 25.99 price. So don't miss the chance. And well, for more information about the lining deal or tutorials for nail art design, just follow us on Facebook and Amazon and YouTube. So now without further ado, let's go for the tutorial now. So this is the 153. It is a kind of gray shimmer colors. Well, let's open the caps. As you can see, it is very... And this is the number 154. It is a kind of light blue shimmer colors. Well, you can see the shimmers very clearly. And this is the GLT002 from G6607. It is a chunky glitter, but it is from another kit. So as you can see, it is very bigger and chunky for those glitters. Well, we have already opened the caps, and when you use this kind of chunky glitter, make sure you stir well. Avoid getting clumpy and avoid getting the powder sticking together so that we can make sure the powder can well stick on your nails. And the powder won't get accumulated on your nails. So let's take out the bumper pad to dry your nail bed. For this kind of bumper pad, it is to make your nail bed get dry and remove the shine of your nails, so that we can make sure the powder can well stick on your nail bed. And for this bumper pad, you can find it on our GH Accessory kit. It is without a very strong smell. It is for disposable use. So it is very handy for beginners. For the preparation, it is a very key point. So you have to do it very well before everything getting started. So now let's take out the number 1 base. For our base, it is very easy to open the caps. But if you receive the one that it is hard to open, you can just put it in a very warm water. Or if you still cannot open it, you can just contact our customer service and we're gonna fix for you. So when you apply the number 1 base, make sure you brush them very evenly from middle left to right. But avoid getting the base onto the cuticle area because powder will put out whatever base is applied. So just dip into the color powder and take it out, tap it off. Brush off the excess powder. And now we apply one more layer of base. For our base, it is super easy to apply. As you can see, it won't keep running everywhere. It is very well controlled, so it is very easy to use for beginners. Just dip at a 45° into the color powder. Stay for a while so that the powder can well react it with the base. And then brush off the loose powder that sticks on your nail bed. As you can see, we only need to dip 2 layers, but you can repick for more coverage if you need it. But basically, for our GH fast dry dipping powder, we only need to apply 2 layers, and that's enough because for our powder, it is very smooth with correct sizes and it is highly full pigmented. So because for this color, it is the shimmer colors. So we have to apply one more base again. And then we have to apply the clear powder on. But before applying clear powder, we just use this trickster to pick up some floral accessories on. It is the dry floral flowers. Before applying these floral flowers, actually, we suggest we just use the top coat to apply because it's gonna dry very slowly. But it is okay for you to apply the base, but make sure you apply the accessories on before the base get dry. So if you apply the base, you have to do it very quickly when you're applying these accessories. As you can see, we apply some pink and gold floral flowers. Because for this color, it is kind of autumn colors. So you can match some things that related to autumns. I think it's gonna be a perfect match. And when you apply these accessories on, you have to use your trickster to press them and make sure they are well stick on your nail bed. So when we pick up those accessories on, we have to apply one more layer of clear powder to protect this nail art surface. I will just dip into the clear powder. And you can also use a stick or pusher to apply the clear powder on. If you don't want the powder messed up with the clear powder. So we just turn to another hand and repeat this nail art design. So repeat the steps before we just apply the base for the first layer. If you notice that the base touch your cuticle area, just remove it. Because we have to avoid getting the base on the cuticle area. Otherwise, it is easy to cause the lifting or cracking problem. So now we apply one more layer of base. And make sure every time you have to brush it very evenly. And then we just dip into the color powder. Stay for a while so that the powder can well absorb with the liquid. And then we brush off the loose powder that sticks on your nail plate. Well, as you can see here, we just apply the top coat. Because after applying the top coat, we have to use a twixter to pick up some accessories on. Why we have to apply the top coat in this step? Because the top coat can dry very slowly. It is slower than the base. So just pick up those accessories very carefully. And after picking up those accessories, we have to apply one more layer of the clear powder to protect this narrow surface, because after we finish that, we just need to do the filing and buffing process. So we have to apply the clear powder on to protect this narrow surface. It is just as a cover. Then we just dip into the clear powder and tap it off, brush off the excess. So we have already finished this narrow design, so we are going to turn to another one. So the same as before, we just apply the base again. Just apply the base and push the liquid to the cuticle area. And make sure you brush it evenly. Dab deep and a 45-degree into this color powder. Tap it off. Brush off the loose powder. If you're not doing very well on the first layer, and when you're doing the second layer, you have to make sure you brush the base evenly, so you can make up the defect that you make. So we just dip into the color powder. As you can see, after we finish the second layer, it is perfect. The nail surface is very smooth. Actually, it is without any clumpy places. So for our fast drying dipping powder, it is very smooth with correct sizes. So after we finish the two layers, we're gonna dip into this chunky glitter. It is a shimmer colors and the chunky glitters combine with each other. So before you're applying them, just mix them well, stir them well. Well, here actually for this chunky glitter, we just applied it as a decoration. So we just use a nail stick to apply it on. You can just apply as much as you want. It is just a decoration. So as you can see, our nail tech is just applying them on the bottom of the nails. Because it is the shimmer colors and the chunky glitters, so we have to apply this clear powder on to protect this narrow surface. And then we brush off the excess clear powder. So we just turn to another hand and repeat this narrow design. So repeat the steps before for the first step, we just apply this base. And after using this base, if you found out it is hard to open when you use next time, you can just put some cuticle oil around the neck of bottle, so it won't get shot when you use next time. So now we apply one more layer of base to create a second layer. Then tap it off, brush off the excess powder. Avoid getting the base onto the cuticle area. You have to pay more attention to this step. So now we're gonna apply this chunky glitter on. We just use a nail tip. Just use this nail stick to apply it on. Because we do not apply too much, just apply a little bit. So the same as the steps before, we have to apply the clear powder on as a cover to protect the nail surface. Because after finishing this kind of step, we have to do the filing and buffing process. So avoid filing this nail design. So we have to apply the clear powder on. And next we're going to use this 153, the shimmer gray colors from G605. Tap it off, brush off the excess powder. For our GH Fast Drying Dipping powder, it's gonna dry within 30 seconds. And we don't need to apply any activator on to make the powder get dry, because it's gonna dry within 30 seconds by itself. So it is a totally different formula from other brands in the market. So you have to pay more attention to how you use them and how to apply them. So you have to follow our tutorials step by step. And you can find out different nail design, and you can use different kinds of colors to create different kinds of nail design. And you can learn more. So for this, we just apply much more chunky glitters on the nail plate. It is just as a decoration. As you can see, this chunky glitter, it is very well matched with these gray colors when they are combined with each other. So the steps before, we just apply one more layer of the clear powder as a cover. Don't miss the step. You have to pay more attention to it. Well, now let's turn to these small fingers, and we're going to do the previous nail design. Then dip into the color powder, brush off the excess powder. Well, steps before, now we're going to use this chunky glitter. For this chunky glitter, it is GLT002 from G6607. You can also find it from our Amazon. Well, now we just use a nail stick to apply this chunky glitter on. Just apply over the entire nail. And then we have to apply one more layer of base and then apply this clear powder on. Well, for our clear powder, it is also belongs to the fast drying dipping powder system. It's gonna dry within 30 seconds. So for our powder, all the colors belong to fast drying dipping system. And we can make sure all the colors can dry within 30 seconds without applying any activator on. So now we turn to this top finger, and we'll still use this 153. Oh, sorry, I think it is 154. It is the light blue colors from G6405. And now we are creating the second layer. And make sure every time you brush it evenly and avoid getting the base onto cuticle area, because powder will pick out whatever base is applied. And it's gonna easily cause the lifting problem. So you have to pay more attention to it. Well, after we finish 2 layers, as you can see, our colors is highly full pigmented. So actually 2 coats is enough when you are using our GH Fast Dry Dipping Powder. Well, repeat the steps before. Now we are turning to another hand and apply this 154 light blue shimmer colors. Dip at the 45°. Stay for a while so that the powder can pick up whatever base is applied. If you brush your base very evenly, when you dip into the color powder, the nail surface won't get clumpy. So this is the key point when you are using our base. For our base, it is a thin formula. So when you use them, it won't easily get clumpy. So it is very easy for beginners to use. As we all know, after we applying these shimmer colors, we have to apply one more layer of the clear powder on. We just dip into the clear powder. If you don't want the shimmer colors messed up with the clear powder, we just use a nail stick to apply this clear powder on. Just do as whatever you want. Well, for this finger, we have to finish 2 layers, so now we just need to apply the clear powder on. And brush off the excess clear powder. And well, for these hands, we're going to use this 153 gray shimmer colors. Just apply a very thin stroke to make sure the nail surface won't get clumpy. Tap it off. Brush off the excess powder. And then we apply the second layer. Then dip into the color powder again to create the second layer. Brush off the excess. In the whole process, we apply all the colors we apply are all shimmer colors. So remember that we have to apply this clear powder on to protect the nail surface. Because after doing these steps, we have to do the filing and buffing process. So repeat the steps before. Apply the base. Just do it very carefully. Then dip into the color powder. Stay for a while so that the powder can pick up whatever base is applied. And then brush off the excess. If you're not doing very well in the first step, you have to make sure the second coat it is evenly. Actually, you can make it up. And then now we are dip into the color powder again to create the second layer. Brush off the excess. Apply one more base and then apply the clear powder on. Brush off the excess. Well, now we have already finished all the nail art designs. So now let's clean up the messed up and keep the caps tightly closed after every time use, because you don't want the colors mixed up with each other. And now after we clean this messed up, we're going to do the filing and buffing process. So when we start this filing process, we're going to use the e-file. We're going to use the jewel machine to file your nail surface. So when you're using this filing machine, you can well adjust the speed of this machine on your skin. So you can try it on your skin first, so that your nails won't get hurt when you are using them. And there are some professional tips when you're doing this process. You have to use 2 fingers to help you to protect the cuticle area. So basically, we just file the nail plate first, and then we turn to the cuticle area, and just file any clumpy and uneven nail surfaces. But actually for our GH fast drying dipping powder, it is smooth enough with correct sizes. So actually we don't need to file or buff a lot. Just do it very slightly. And for this step, as you can see, we don't apply any activator on. After finish 2 layers, we can just start the e-filing. That is the bit different from any other powder in the market. So it is very handy, saving your time, because we don't need to apply one more activator. So now we have finished the filing process. Next step, we're going to use this nail file to shape the desired shape. And for this nail file, you can also find it out from our GH Accessory Kit. For our GH Accessory Kit, it is very helpful and useful for beginners. And it gets the dip trace, nail file buffer, and the clear powder, and some nail tips. You can also use those kinds of nail tips to practice before using our GH fast drying dipping powder. Especially for some beginners, if you don't know how to use them, you can just follow our tutorial step by step. By practicing, you're gonna create a very perfect nail art design. So just in this step, just shake any desired shape you want, because different people might choose different kind of nail shapes. Well, some like the round one, some like the vertical one. So just do it whatever you want. Now we're going to do the buffing. And you can also find this buffer on our GH Accessory Kit. Well, when you're using this buffer, firstly, you're gonna use the coarse grit to file the prick-first thinnings of the nails. And then we just turn to another grit buffer to smooth the nail surface. That is the correct way when you use this kind of buffer. But do not over buff filing or buffing, because for our GH fast drying dipping powder, it is smooth enough. So we don't need to file or buff a lot. And I also want to remind you guys that our for this G6405, we're going to have the limited time lining due on 13th of October. It is Tuesday in American time, and this lining due is gonna start from 8:50 a.m. to 2:50 p.m. and you're gonna have this kit by $23.99. It is a very favorable price. So don't miss the chance and kindly remember our limited time lining due. And if you have further information about how to apply and how to use our GH Fast Strengthening Powder, you can also join us a Facebook group. And you can post your questions, and we're gonna have professionals to help you to solve those kind of problems. And you can also share your nails when you use our GH Fast Strengthening Powder. And now we're turning to another hand and start this buffing process. And when you're doing these nails, make sure you do prep your nails very properly. Make sure you thoroughly prep your nails so that you can ensure the adhesion and long-lasting wearing. Like you have to push back the cuticles to create a rough texture on your nail plates by filing and sanitize thoroughly. So you have to do this preparation very well, so that the final results that coming up is gonna be perfect. And for our GH Fast Strengthening Powder Kit, as I said before, we don't need to apply the activator to make the powder get dry, because it's gonna dry within 30 seconds and dry by itself. And also it won't affected by any room temperature, whether you're in summer or in winter, it's gonna be the same. So the drying speed won't be affected by the room temperature. So it is totally different from any other brand's powder. So when you use our GH Fast Strengthening Powder, you have to follow our instructions step by step, or you can just watch our tutorials for more information about how to apply them. And for our GH Fast Strengthening Powder, it is fast drying, so you can also match any other liquids in the market. But actually, what I suggest is it is better for you to combine our dip liquid and our GH Fast Strengthening Powder, because they belong to the same system. So now, as you can see, we have already finished the buffing process. And now we're just using this lint-free wipe to wipe off any dust particles on your nail bed. Because after finishing this kind of step, we are going to apply the activator on. So this is our number 2 activator. Well, in this step, we need to apply this activator, and its function is to make the top coat get dry and double shine. But remember that do not apply too much activator in this step, otherwise the powder will get cracking when nails are done. And also keep in mind that we only need to apply one-time activator in the whole process. So we have already applied this activator on the first hands. And now we are going to apply the top coat on. And for our top coat, we have to apply 2 layers. And first layer, we have to apply a very thin stroke and very thin layer. And when the half dries, the top coat gets matte but still sticky, we can start the second layer. Basically, we just brush the first layer on 3 fingers. And then we can just get back to the first one and start to apply the second layer. This is the trick when you are applying the top coat. When the first layer gets matte but still sticky, so we can apply the second layer now. Remember that we cannot wait the top coat dry completely, then we start to apply the second layer. Otherwise, it's gonna make the top coat hard dry and not shiny at all. Kindly keep in mind. And after finishing 2 coats, we can start to apply this accessories on. It is a golden circle, and we are gonna put a diamond in it. Just press it and make sure it can well stick on your nail surface. For this floral nail design, we're gonna apply the first layer of top. And make sure you brush the top coat very evenly and avoid getting the top onto the cuticle area. When you are brushing this top coat, just do the same as you brush the base. And make sure you brush it evenly and avoid getting the top onto your cuticle area. And when the first layer gets matte but still sticky, remember that you have to apply the second layer when the first layer is still sticky, so that we can create the double shine. And for our top coat, it's gonna dry within 1 minute. It is faster than any other brands in the market. So now we turn to another hand and we are going to apply this activator on. And for our activator, actually for all activators, they are all very easy to volatilize. So we should always keep the caps tightly closed after using. So we have already finished applying the activator on, so we can start to apply the top coat. So just make sure you brush stick very evenly from middle left to right and avoid getting the top onto your cuticle area. Well, now we have already finished the first layer on 3 fingers. So now we can get back to the first one and start to apply the second layer. The first layer gets matte but still sticky. This is the trick when that we are coming up with. to create the double shine nail art design. And do not apply much more. But actually for the first layer, we just apply very thin gel, but when you are applying the second layer, you can apply much more than the first layer. Now we have picking up those accessories on your nail bed. Well, just repeat the steps before. Now we are applying the first layer of the top. And make sure you brush it evenly. Just from middle left to right. But avoid getting the top onto your cuticle area. And after